Hey, today is our lucky Friday the 13th. Good to see everybody. John Lee, St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association, here with members and guests. Good to see everybody. Um, I don't have a lot of announcements. I do have a few though. We got some good things coming up, some good events, and then we'll let Laura give our disclaimer, and then I'll rest my tongue. So let's see. On June 17th, next Tuesday, we have Attorney Dale Sweet coming to the STLREA main event over there off of Manchester at the Pear Lodge. And doors open at 6:30. We'll have some food and stuff, and then he'll get started about 7 o'clock. He's the only speaker, so he's going to fill us in on all the tax sales in St. Louis City and St. Louis County coming up. Now, they did postpone the one in the city because of the tornado, and I believe it was postponed till fall, but he'll have all that information for us. Then on Friday, the 20th, next week, and I've been talking about this for a while, Scott Walterbach is coming in town bringing his the Missouri Tax Sales Seminar #4. This is going to be a great event. If you're not registered yet, I would highly recommend it. And they do have a virtual option. If you're an attorney or somebody that needs the CE credits, those are available also. This is a pretty high level event. So this covers a lot of the state of Missouri. There's also, I believe, at least one national speaker coming in. And I'll put a link in there for so you can get more information if you're not registered but want to find out more about it. You'll be able to do that. And I'll put the links in for all that. Then the only other announcement I have is on July 10th, Kathy Kennebrook will be doing a virtual event for us, exclusive event on vacant land gold. And she has a very unique way of doing this. I've known Kathy for a while. She's been out to our group several times, but she does some things nobody else does and has a very unique way of getting leads and doing things with vacant land. A lot of things that I like doing. She'll fill us more in on that coming up. She was here a couple weeks ago on our Friday event here. Talked a little bit about it. So if you weren't here, you can go back on YouTube and watch me it's 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I think that's all I have. And Laura, you want to give us your disclaimer and then we'll get started, I guess.
Sure. Good morning and welcome, everyone. First, I'd like to do a bit of housekeeping. Feel free to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. Please be mindful of everyone else by muting yourself while others are speaking. You're welcome to put any contact information that you want to share into the chat. We meet here to share deals, look for deals and solutions we have and need with our real estate. We are not your financial advisors, attorney, or accountants. We do not endorse or recommend any specific solutions or contractors here. You're advised to do your own due diligence to your own satisfaction before you invest. The first Friday of each month is Ask the Attorney with Ms. Catherine Davis. Our meetings are typically recorded, so only share what you want others to know.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, does anybody have anything they would like to start us off with today? Anybody buying or selling anything? Working on anything?
I got a listing. I just went live. It's the one on Itasca. I'll share the link in the chat, but it's 3515 Itasca. It's a true 2-bedroom, but it does have a third room and a sunroom. We're asking 125.5. It needs a little bit of cosmetic work, but all the big stuff's been done. It has a new roof, new HVAC, newer hot water heater. The sewer lateral line from the house to the city main has been replaced. So a lot of the big stuff has been done. So I think it's a really good deal. Has fresh paint throughout. Like I said, a few little cosmetic things here and there. It's just shotgun style. It's a cute little place. So I'll share the link. But that's for sale. It'd be a good investment property or a first-time home buyer option in the city. And while I'm talking, I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Stacy Lowe. I am a realtor here in St. Louis. I work with Dave Soto. We're Soto Property Solutions, and we primarily do property management in St. Louis and Cape Girardeau area. So if you have any investment properties and you're looking for any help with them or a property manager, we'd love to help you. We do everything for you from start to finish. all the turnover work. We meet the city inspectors there. We do all the marketing, in-person showings, all the tenant screening, accounting every month for you. We hold the security deposits and we oversee all the maintenance as well. So you don't have to lift a finger. We do it all for you. My contact is Stacy, STACY at SOTOPS.com. And then my office line 636-305-3380. And I'm extension 311. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. And you said that was 3515 Itasca?
Yes, Itasca
Okay.
Street. Yep. And I'll put it in the chat as well.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Sounds like a good investment property for someone or a good place to live. Either way. So if you know somebody that's looking for a place for themselves or for an investment property, that would be a one to definitely look at.
I forgot to mention it has a working garage too, which is, it depends on where you're at in the city, but for it to have an automatic door is kind of a big thing. And it's an oversized garage. So you could fit a car in there and then you have some space too for storage or tools or whatever. So that's nice as well.
That's a big plus right there. Yeah, thank you, Stacy. And if you don't mind putting your information in the chat also, that'd be great. All right. Anybody else have anything today that they're looking to buy or sell? I guess it's always a good place to start.
Hey, John.
Hello. Yes.
Hey, it's me, Amber.
Oh, hi, Amber.
Hey, I am still on the look for a 4-family in St. Louis City. So if anyone is selling, please let me know. I'll put my contact in the information or in the chat. But for those online, email me at agray, GRAY, property LLC@gmail.com. And I'm primarily looking in 63109, 63136, and 63116.
Okay, that's 63109, 63136, and what was the last one?
63116.
116. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's a 4-family you were looking for, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And what kind of are you looking for a turnkey, Amber? Are you looking for something you can fix up or semi-fix up or maybe cosmetically or doing a full rehab, or what kind of property you
Yeah.
looking for?
Semi fix up would be perfectly fine. If it's already turnkey with tenants, that's also okay. But it would be, I would have to analyze the deal, obviously, but that's essentially the make or break point.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Amber.
Mhm.
And if you could put your information in the chat also, that'd be great. Right. Anybody else have anything here they're looking to buy or sell? How about anybody looking, are they working on anything? Anybody need any services or anything like that? Got a quiet group today. Everybody's waiting for all the big techs presentations next week. I know I am. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, the event on Tuesday will be very informative because Dale Sweet, he's a local attorney specialized. He's also going to be there on Friday doing another presentation. And I highly encourage you to show up Friday too, because Dale is very entertaining. We've known him for a while. He's talked to our group several times actually over the years, but he is a specialist right here in the St. Louis and St. Louis County areas. So that's highly worth your time for Tuesday. And if you can't make it, there is a virtual option. You can always go to STLREIA.com and get a link there. I would encourage you to show up in person if at all possible, on location, that is. And then Friday, when Scott comes in, he's bringing a lot of good speakers, and I'll put, like I said, a link in there so you can go check them out. But Dale is one of the speakers, and last year it was just one of the most entertaining presentations, I think, of the day. He has these, well, fictitious characters, but they're not really, because it's so realistic. If you've ever dealt with title companies and anybody in any of the kind of tax industry that knows the ins and outs, you'll get a kick out of it. And even if you don't, this is a great place to learn from from the people that are actually doing this stuff day in and day out. Another good thing about the in person events too is you can kind of sit there and talk to the people and get your questions answered. I mean, it's all great when we can meet online and do everything, but when you're there in person, you can kind of talk to them, and like a little bit more one-on-one. So definitely worth your while. If if you don't have it on your calendar, I would just um, I would recommend it, and both of those events. And you can do them online, which is also recommended if you can't. I know some of us have a hard time traveling, and good thing about Zoom is we can do this kind of stuff like we do every Friday, without traveling to the event. We did a lot of lunches, and we still have the lunch on with St. STLREIA, the first Monday of the month. Now we used to do them the last Friday of the month, and or first Friday, excuse me. And that went on for years, but you do have to make an effort to go. This, it's nice on Zoom where you can do this. And um, anyway, so we have a couple events next week, and coming up, get ready for the tax seasons, which I'm pretty excited about myself. So anyway, anybody have anything that they're Renee? Oh, hi Renee. Haven't seen you, I think, in a couple weeks. And yeah, Dale's amazing. I totally agree with you there. And yeah, the Zoom option is good for the Friday event too. I would highly recommend at least tuning in, because it's really, and I keep mentioning this to Scott, it's very inexpensive for the level of education and just the quality of people that you get. So I would, if you can all do that, I would definitely recommend it. So, and I'll put these links in here also that I had mentioned earlier. Um, there we go. I've got the June 17th. You can go to the STLREIA website to look at, find out a little bit more about Dale Sweet. There's also, if you're not on his mailing list, I would recommend that also, because Dale does a great job of keeping us up to date on what's going on with the city and with St. Louis County. So those two in particular. All right. Anybody else got anything they'd like to share with us today? A lot of quiet people. A lot of smiles with behind their pictures there, I see. And we got a few on screen. It's always good to see you guys. Um, let's see here. You'd think everybody else had the sore tongue and not me. Okay, Bruce, that's something you're looking for. I see you put something in the chat. You go ahead and unmute yourself if you can there. Yeah, maybe your microphone's not working or you're not able to. You're looking for a lawn mowing company in the city and a metal gate repair, driveway gate. So I don't know what part of the city are you looking for? Are you looking at, Bruce? Says your mic's not working. Um, okay. Maybe your speaker's not working too. There you go. Mo on Cherokee, Oregon. Cherokee and Oregon, I guess, is where you need the lawn work. And then the gate is on Oregon. Okay. All right. And what's the contact information? Some contact information for you, Bruce. Okay. Okay, Bruce, okay, Bruce's contact information, if you know of lawn service, or someone that can repair his gate in the city is phone number 314-742-1810. And his email address is BRUCESTOTLER11 @gmail.com. So thank you, Bruce. Maybe we can get your mic fixed next week. Does anybody have a mic repair person for Bruce while they're out there cutting his grass? No, all good. I know sometimes we can't get that stuff working. I know Zoom updates their stuff a lot, at least in my world, it seems like, and I've got to configure stuff sometimes. So, but all good. So if anybody can help Bruce out, that's a good, please get a hold of him. And he did put his info in the chat too, in case you want to write it down. So, all right. All right. Who else has something for us today?
Hey, John, I'm in New Jersey right now.
Hey, David, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm in New Jersey. I've got a loan that I made to a rehabber in New Jersey that's going bad.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and so I gotta come down here and try to whip things into shape, get some contractors lined up and get things back rolling again, on it. So that kind of sucky. But I'm also here for a Saturday real estate conference in New Jersey, so I kind of combine both trips into one on it, so at least I'm not flying here just because of a bad loan on it and everything. Then I'll be flying on Sunday back to Florida to the Villages. I don't know. I think I told you that I bought a vacation rental
Mhm.
Villages, and so my wife and I are going down this week here, and we're going to get it all ready. We got the flooring in, we got the paint done. We got to put a few more light fixtures in, and then we got to get the furniture in it in the next couple of weeks. So anybody on here looking to come to the Villages in Florida to rent a fabulous, very expensive vacation rental, please contact David Randolph at 636-685-2990. So I'm going to start marketing already, even before it is done. Okay. So we'll see how that goes.
When did you say it would be done, David?
July 1st.
July. Oh, good time.
Yeah.
Good timing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. Yeah. And if you don't mind putting your contact information in the chat also. And I think Terry, do you have a question about that? Are you talking to David? You can feel free to unmute yourself there. She said how much? Are you talking about the rental or are you talking about the loan that went bad? Maybe she wanted to help out with that.
Yeah. The loan's a couple $100,000. It depends on whether you're going to do 1 week or 1 month. But basically, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, full 2-car garage. You got all the amenities in the Villages, the community center. You got 23 golf courses within 10 minutes. Okay, within 10 minutes.
Wow.
So to give you a perspective, during January and February and March, it rents for $6,000 per month. Okay. Now in this might be called semi off season. It's probably, well, I have it rented in September for 4,500 a month on there. So, but yeah, it's a great place to come down and visit. You definitely got to come check the place out.
23 golf courses. You'd have to stay more than a month to even get through those.
I know, it's crazy. And that's just within 10 minutes. I think there's a total of 35. In the Villages. It's just championship golf courses. There's some guy named was it Arnold Palmer or something? His courses down here,
Wow.
championship courses down here and stuff like that. But I thought Arnold Palmer was a drink, but whatever. Apparently he's a golfer too.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard they had several zip codes there also.
Yeah, it's over 75,000 homes now. It's a retirement community. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's you have to be over 55 to own a place here. and it's 75,000 homes. It was 50,000 homes about 5 years ago, and they started expanding towards Orlando, and now they're expanding towards Tampa. They're just north of Orlando, about 1 hour north of Orlando. Now they're heading southwest towards Tampa. So it's just crazy, the model they have. It's really good. It's it's really good community. They build these giant community centers with swimming pools, pickleball, pool tables, game rooms, big places to do line dancing. And then they have every single night from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock a band that plays outside under a little canopy or building, and there'll be 600 people there, on the weekend, maybe 300 people there, every single night, during the week, and playing different kinds of music and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff here to do. There's over 2,000 clubs. There's 11 chess clubs. Okay, so you can go to these community centers and play chess just about any time of the week with a group of other people. And so that's probably the cool part, is these clubs that they have, stock investing clubs. I went to a stock investing club, and it had the retired chairman of HP and some vice president of IBM. Now they retired 30 years ago, but it was really cool because they got in an argument where the guy from HP said, "Yeah, man, we broke into your factory one night and we stole your Micron whatever plans for their back when they're doing the chips, building chips and stuff, and well, that's all right. We broke in and we took this from your place." I'm like, "Are you guys supposed to say this stuff?" It's like, come on, didn't you sign a disclosure or something? What is this here? This is a public meeting here with 25 investors, So it's a lot of fun, clubs and things to go do, and the pool tables and swimming pools and entertainment. So, I mean, you definitely got to come down and just check it out. Just a good place to go for vacation.
Do they allow kids there, like grandkids,
Yeah,
to
no,
visit?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can have grandkids down here for sure on it. Now they can't stay, like live with you. You can't like become their parent, but they can come down and stay and visit with you. No problem at all. They have, matter of fact, it's so much so that they have two swimming pools. One's for adults, which is no kids, okay, and then one, and I'm not going to say why that is, but whatever it is, and then another one where the kids go to, okay, and stuff like that. So and so they got swimming pools like every 2 miles, swimming pools and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff to do there on it. I'll put that in the chat box here. Contact me there for vacation rental in the villages. Yeah, there we go. So
Beautiful.
put that in there. Yeah, yeah. I gotta get it in. I gotta get cash flowing. It's
Yes.
expensive down here. Very
Hey,
expensive.
hey, David, it's Ann. I missed what city that was in Florida.
It's called the, with a capital T, the Villages. Villages, the Villages. That's the name of the retirement community in Central Florida, like 1 hour north of Orlando and stuff. So it's only like a 1 hour drive from the airport, and they have shuttles that even take you there. And you rent the place, you have a golf cart. So everyone drives golf carts here. Okay, it's all golf carts. And so if you drive here, park your car, and then everyone drives golf carts everywhere. I mean, you don't have to. There's obviously streets, but on the side, there's a golf cart lane. There's golf cart tunnels. Golf carts can take shortcuts, and you go to Publix and Walmart, and you park in golf cart parking spots up front, and stuff. So it's just a different way of life.
So does your unit come with a golf cart?
Well, I'm going to be working on that next week when I get down there. Jim says that I should rent one from a place and not, even though they bought their own, because Jim Heisner's got his rental place down here too. Matter of fact, I'm real close to his on there, and he kind of recommends that I rent it and kind of sublease it, for different liability reasons and stuff like that. So yeah, I got to take care of that next week. Get a golf cart rental arrangement set up.
So can you take your golf cart to the golf courses?
Well, yeah, you can. I mean, so yeah, it's where they're used at. But to get
Beautiful.
to the golf cart, you might as well drive it there.
I like that. I see them more and more all the time, the golf carts out there, and it makes a lot of sense in a lot of areas like that.
Yeah, so someone said, how did you find the place? So it was actually a referral from Jim and Pat, okay, our former presidents. They have a place down there and they were down there mingling, whatever they do. And they met this real estate lady who said something to the effect of, hey, I want to be selling my parents' place, and so I'm going to be looking to try to sell it. And Jim goes, man, I know a guy named Dave. He pays cash. He's an investor, and so if the house needs a lot of work, he can buy that thing for you, no problem. And so he gave my number to her, and she called me, and then uh, and then that was a year and a half ago, okay. And it was their parents was 85 years old. It was the daughter, and she is a real estate agent, and she didn't want to put it on the MLS, okay, because she was a top agent, and I guess the house wasn't in great shape, and so she didn't want the public to see it. So she wanted to sell it, sell it privately. And so she started talking with me and knew I was a cash buyer. Well, I flew down to Florida 3 times, sat in my rental car in front of the house 3 times, and they never let me in the house. 3 times. She said, Dave, they're just not ready yet. They're just not ready. They're not going to let you in, Dave. I'm sorry. They're just not ready. 3 times I sat in a rental car in front of their stinking house, waiting to be okayed to walk in. And so I can see the thing, right? Finally, 2 months ago, whatever it was, she said, Dave, they're ready. They're finally ready. Okay. And so I did get in, saw it, made my offer, and wrapped it up under contract, and paid cash and closed on it in 3 weeks with it. So that's how I found the place. That's the deal, Terry, on it and stuff. Got a pretty good deal on it too. With it, it's probably ARV's probably around 450, and she sold it to me for 262.
Nice.
So that was pretty nice there.
Very nice.
And stuff.
Well, see, that's the value too that you touched on so many different points there, David, but that's the value of being in groups and talking to people and just kind of mingling. And that's kind of stuff you don't find just by going out and talking to, just the average person.
Yeah, it's all about networking and stuff like that. So, and so I would, plus of course having cash helped,
Mhm.
that helps with people because then they know that you're going to be able to close on it.
Right. In 3 weeks, I mean, that's pretty quick too. That's enough time to get your title work and everything done.
Well, what happened was that actually gave me a negotiating point. They were now at that point so ready to leave that they went out and they put down a deposit to buy another place that they had to close on in 30 days. Okay, so they couldn't dicker around with me on price too much because they needed the cash from that house to buy the one they'd already committed and had a closing date, and they would lose it if they didn't close. So they screwed that one up. Okay, they screwed that up big time. They should have done it in stages. Okay, when I found out that they had to close on that other one in 30 days, my negotiation went down. It's like, okay, well, that's the best I can do here.
Well, that's kind of funny too, because by procrastinating, and I know you see this with your foreclosures, kind of like we do with some stuff too, but people wait till the last minute. You were down there, you said 3 times,
Yeah.
ready, and they probably would have got a better price and let
And I
you
said to
sell.
him each time, I said, look, we can sign the contract and they can stay in the house. I said 3 times, stay in the house. It's fine. I don't care when I get the house. I didn't say die, but I said, but I said, stay in the house until they're ready to move. I'll close on it. I'll rent it back to them and everything. And so they had that opportunity, kind of thing.
Mhm.
The only mistake I made was they were so confused about what to move and to take, to the new place, that they couldn't really make that decision to sell there at the end. And I said, look, don't worry about it. Just leave everything. I'll take care of all of it. You only take what you want. Just take what you need for your new place. I'll take care of all of it. So I ended up with a fully furnished house. Okay. They took
Yep.
one bed and that was it. They left everything else. So I now have a fully furnished house ready to go. Now, keep in mind, this isn't your distressed seller stuff that's in the house. This is, this is $400,000 house, people. Okay. So it's nice stuff,
Yeah.
in there and stuff. But there was a pain because there was too much of it. I had to give half of it away because in a rental, on a vacation rental, you don't want a bunch of junk in the house. You don't want 18 cabinets and stuff like that, right? And so I had to give a bunch of it away. They left the food in the refrigerator. you know.
Oh, wow.
It's like, holy cow.
I thought only renters did that when they moved out.
Yeah, well, I told them leave everything, and so they didn't clean out the fridge or any. They just left it in there and stuff. So yeah, I had a little bit of mistake on that contract point there. Should have said, well, just leave it broom clean, and or something like that, But anyway, I got past it. It only took about 3 or 4 days to give all the stuff away.
That also can give you some brownie points with some of the neighbors too, because sometimes they want to come in and just see what the place looks like. And if you're giving away this stuff, they might
Oh,
need a
yeah.
pan or two.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. Yeah, no, the neighbors were real happy about it and
Yeah.
stuff. So,
It's always nice too when they don't have when you buy a place like that too, the neighbors a lot of times are happy because they don't have people coming in, strangers they don't know.
mhm.
So that works
Yeah,
out good. Good
yeah,
story. Thanks for sharing that, Davis. I wish you
yeah,
would on your loan. I know those are not always the most fun things, but I know you can handle it well.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
just that I don't want to have to be here to do it, so I got to try to get contractors set up now so that I trust them, to do work while I'm gone. With it and stuff like that. So I'll probably have to lean more towards a GC, and I don't normally do that in St.
Mhm.
Louis because I don't need a GC in St. Louis. I got my own contractors. So I'm kind of working here with a GC arrangement. That'll help a lot for me, to have somebody that's kind of got the trades and skills in case something goes wrong. They can kind of bird dog stuff
Mhm.
better.
Hey,
And,
Dave.
Yeah.
Dave,
yeah.
did you say you only rent it monthly or, like, would
Oh,
you rent
no,
it
no,
for 2
no,
weeks
no.
or
I'm gonna
two?
rent it for the weekend. I'm gonna rent it by the week. Yeah, yeah. Jim said there are people that come down here just for a weekend. So yeah, I'll do a weekend. I'll do 1 week, on it too. So yeah, definitely just, text me or something and we can, go talk about it, and show you pictures of it and stuff like that. It's really, really nice. It's got palm trees in the front. It's got a hot tub, in the back and stuff. So, you know,
Mm.
it's cool.
Okay.
Very nice.
Hey, John, I had a question since there's a lot of experienced folks on here.
Sure.
I found a four family on the MLS that I was super interested in. A lot of work had been done on the property, but it sounds like the seller is they're at their lowest that they can go because they owe so much on the property. So just for a number's sake, she's dropped it down at 325. I've offered 290, but she basically is saying, hey, I still have a loan on this property. I can't sell it. So just curious if anyone on the line has a option, that I may be able to look into.
Have you asked her about owner financing or anything like that, Amber? Maybe taking over payments, something like that, if your numbers work for you that way?
I have not.
Yeah, find out what the interest rate is on that. That could be, I mean, how old is the loan? If that's 5-year-old loan, it could be sitting there at 3%. That would be kind of like gold.
So it would just be as simple as taking over her. And the other piece of that is we both have agents. I think hers just from the lack of experience of how they're operating. Feel like her agent is probably a family member that's selling it, but I also have a agent. So I'd have to go through my agent, correct, for this sort of, hey, can we assume your loan?
Yeah,
Is it owner financing or assuming the loan?
you're assuming that, no, you're not. You're taking it subject to the existing loan. So on the HUD statement line, like 254, you put down your earnest money, and where
Mhm.
all the purchase price comes from. One of those lines is the existing loan that's already on there. Now you can still pay $10,000 and give five to each of the agents. But technically, if the seller doesn't have a signed listening agreement, and you don't have a signed buyer's agreement with your agent, you could take it out between just the two of you to do
Well,
it.
I do. Yeah. So I made an official offer. So I do have a signed agreement with my agent, and I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Still working through her, but I just wanted to make sure owner financing was still an option if I work through my agent.
Yeah, it's not really owner financing because she doesn't own it free and clear. You're going to take it over as subject to the existing loan. And so the thing is that, the loan will stay in her name, but you're going to make the payments on it, with it. And so that's where the deal is. Now, the problem is you don't want to do that. If the house isn't worth it, then you'd want to do what I do, which is a short sale, because if she owes too much, why would you want to be necessarily paying, too much for the house, even though it is, just monthly payments, and your tenant's going to kind of pay for it, hopefully. But still, if you did a short sale, you could get a loan from another bank and at maybe $230,000. Now, she won't go for that unless she's
Right.
house payment. She has to miss one house payment to do that. And she might not want to do that, right? She might not want to miss a payment on it. You can't do the short sale unless she's missed one house payment.
Does a short sale need to be a distressed property? Again, I
Oh,
think this is
no, absolutely
okay.
not. No. I've wholesaled them for $100,000 and he was 8 years old and nothing wrong with them. Not at all. It's just going to be her credit scores where the problem is. A short sale will hurt her 50 points and for 1 year, which is nothing, by the way, to be honest with you. Foreclosures 300 points and 7 to 10 years. But she would have to miss that one payment on it. So she's probably not going to go. I mean, you have to ask her, why did you pick this sales price? Was it because of your loan? Because maybe this house is worth a whole lot less, or this unit's worth a whole lot less than even 290. I mean, you can't offer based on the 320 loan. They're not related. What is the real true value for the unit? That's really what you want to do.
Yeah, we've ran the comps, and I think my agent gave me something about 280 is about average, between 280 and 350, I think was the average in that area.
Yeah, so she's definitely priced way too high, it sounds like.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to have that conversation with her about that, because how much did you say she owes?
Somewhere a little north of 325. So she's trying to
Oh,
make sure she can clear her
yeah. Now this one,
agents.
right, if she owes the bank 325, you got to add 5 to 10% to that because of all the other closing costs and
No,
commission.
I don't know how much she owes. So sorry. So
Oh,
she's trying to clear 325 to make all of those payments you're about to lift off.
okay, yeah. So yeah, so then that means she probably owes 225 on it. And so you're gonna have to
Yep.
give her 350.
That's one of the problems you run into too, is when you get a couple of agents involved and you got to cover commissions and
Hmm.
all that. One of the things we did a couple of times, you have to get creative on these, but one of the things we did a couple of times is I took some of the down payment on stuff I was financing, owner financing, and made sure the agents got paid. Now we came up with amounts everybody could agree on, but that's one of the things you do run into. But you have to be pretty creative and start looking at things. Subject to is a good way to do it. I've seen people this is back a while back during the last downturn, kind of, where they owed a lot more money on the homes than they were worth. And we ended up making them work based on payments. Now, of course,
Mm,
then, over a 5 or 10 year period, if the deal makes sense on payments, they've come out of there and made it work to where you could do that. But it took a while to dig out of that hole. At the time, they didn't see anything that would work. And the biggest problem I see is you got too many partners involved sometimes, like with different
hmm.
agents on both sides and different people. It's a lot simpler when you can just sit down at the table, which you don't have that right now because you have a different set of circumstances. But
Right.
you just have to be real creative, see what she's willing to do. And like David said, see if you can do a short sale or something like that on there. A lot of times that's what makes the deals work. That adds in a couple more pieces. And there's really nothing that can't be done, but it's just sometimes you have to be pretty creative. And a lot of times if people aren't used to doing that, they don't know how to go about it. So that's what you run into a lot of times. But the main thing at least I found with most agents is they need to get paid, and you want to make sure they get paid, because if you can be the person to make the deals get done, you could be the go-to person. You guys could trade off stuff forever. I mean,
Mhm.
not everybody's like that. In fact, most people are not like that, honestly. You know, I'd say about 1 out of 10 people just in general turn out to be somebody that we end up dealing with on a long-term basis. But that's just something you got to figure out and, you know, and make the deal work. That's the main thing for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was asking the question. So I will definitely research the subject too. I think that's a great option. I would love a short sale, obviously. But again, I think this is a newer investor. It just feels like she's done a lot of great work into the four family. But the other piece is she's the only one living there. At
Yeah.
a minimum, I would have got somebody, you know, if I'm the owner, I would have got somebody in there giving me the money to help out with the mortgage, but I think that's also a piece of it because she's selling it as is. She's turned off the utilities to the other 3 units. She had it on, one of the units was a Airbnb, so I know she was making money, but something's not right. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I will, yeah, I'll look into the short sale option and the subject too.
Yeah, if she's living there too, a lot of times you get emotional on your own, you know, your own residence, and then the deals don't flow as good. You don't think as clearly because investors, as you know, definitely think different than people that live
Mhm.
in their own residence. So you just have to see what works for everybody.
See, David, real quick, you mentioned it'll hurt her 50 points, and then you said something for 1 year. What was the 1 year part?
I'm sorry, what'd you say there?
So David mentioned something about if
Yeah.
I did a short sale, it was hurt her for 50 points and then something else.
Yeah, what that means, people kind of, well, John, of course, teaches on credit, but you know, people don't understand that credit is two components. It's the number of points and the duration that it's there. So 50 points in 1 year means that the day it happens, you like it hit 50 points, and then over the course of the year, it comes right back up to where it was. That's why foreclosure is horrible. It's 300 points, and it takes 7 years to get back to zero. So the monthly increase, you know, the monthly getting better is super slow. So on a short sale, it's about 50 points and only 1 year. So it's fully back on their full credit score of wherever they were at before, you know, in just 1 year, and it only hit them 50 to begin with. So, you know, if they're an 800 credit score, they're only going to go to 750, you know, type thing. And so that's what that means, 50 points in 1 year.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Amber, I'm sorry, I missed it. Is the property in St. Louis City?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so there's this really cool website. It's called Geo St. Louis. Like Geo
Familiar with
is
that one. Yep.
okay. So you can go on that site, put in the property address, and it will tell you like if there's condemnations, if they're current, if they've been lifted, if there's, you know, like I would go on there and see if there's like permits for anything, if there were work stoppages, if, you know, something, because like not renting out at the other 3 units sounds fishy.
Yeah, no, we've done that. We also reached out to the inspector. He was very familiar with this property. He mentioned nothing that he was aware of. My agent made sure that the electrical had been closed out. Yeah, so we've been on top of that. We've definitely done our due diligence there. So to your
Okay.
point, something sounds fishy. I just have not been able to figure out what it is.
Okay. No, I just figured if you didn't know about it, that was a good place to look.
Thank
Um,
you.
Okay. Good luck with it. I hope you figure something out.
What's that website, Renee? You said?
Geo
So-
St. Louis. So GEO as in like geography,
Mm-hmm.
and then STLOUIS. And I think it's .com.
Okay.
But it shows every single you can look up any property in the on that site, and they don't, like, they have a disclaimer that they don't guarantee everything's current or whatever, which is very possible, but a lot of times it will tell you if, you know, if there was a fire, if there's permits, if there's it'll tell you about the property, if it's in a flood zone, if it's in a district, if it's in a historic district, if it, you know, like if any permits pulled and whether they were closed out or not, any current permits, condemnations, and if they've been lifted or not. It'll tell you like all kinds of things on the property. And sometimes there will be current pictures that are much more current than whatever's on Google Maps. I would not rely on Google. I don't know if it's probably been discussed, but I would not rely on Google Maps for what the property actually looks like, especially if you're buying it at auction. So if you can't go look at it yourself, I would go on that site and see if there are more current pictures.
Well, that's good information. Thank you, Renee. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I wouldn't rely on pictures pretty much on any of the websites. I know I got some houses that we sold back, even 10 years ago, and it has my pictures from 15 years ago that the people are still using on like Zillow and everything else. And I know that was from my remodel on the kitchen back, back in 2014. So I would definitely get some updated pictures, but that's a good site to know. Geo St. Louis, and you think it's .com.
Yeah, it really is a great site, and it's also linked. So if you ever look up a property in St. Louis City and you're, Googling on St. Louis City property search, it's linked there too from the city's database. So if you're looking up like somebody's taxes, the city has linked Geo St. Louis also. So you can kind of click there and it'll take you to another website, this website, obviously, and it'll give you that information.
Wow. Good information. Nice. Good to know that. Thank you, guys.
Also plot number, what it's currently zoned for, in case, like you have a plan to make it a 4-family, it might already be zone multiple. Even if it is a single family, like the single family I bought at auction was zoned for multiple properties, so you can find out if you need a variance to do what you're planning or if it's already zoned for whatever you want to do. There's tons of information. I would just recommend having that, in your saved links or however you bookmarked or however, because it's really good, but it's only within the city limits. And of course they don't guarantee everything's accurate, but it's pretty good.
Very good. Nice. Nice to know. Thank you very much. And I hope everybody's taking notes. I know I am. It's always good to have another little tool in your toolbox there like that. And it sounds like you could save lots of time. I remember back in the day calling up the city hall to find out that kind of stuff on variances and what they're zoned for and everything. And sometimes even having to go down there and get a copy of plat maps and stuff like that. So
yes, that's actually how I found it. Was I called when we were doing our first auction. I had a group initially, it was a group of us. And so I called and asked about a couple of properties and they gave me the info. And then I called the second time and I said, I know you don't have time to run through all these properties with me. I said, but can I give you a couple? And she said, yeah, I'll take a couple. And then she said, and go look on Geo St. Louis for all the rest. So
Wow.
it was somebody at the assessor's office who actually gave me the info about the Geo St. Louis website. I also put it in the chat.
That's great. Thank you, Renee. Very nice. It saved people a lot of time. All right, let's see. Okay, Bruce had something else in here, guys. Selling a house 2 doors down from me, not listed. 200K, but needs help. 4121. What is that? SCHLOGL? Is that the road? Schlogel? I'm not sure. If interested in buying, but not sure if you needed a partner. Okay, well, Bruce, I think we need your microphone on before you could explain a little more on that one. Not sure what that is, but I guess I could give your phone number out again if anybody had wanted more information, because you were still needing a lawn mowing company and metal gate repair in the city, and your number is 314-742-1810. So
I just looked up that address and that is how you spell the street.
that is, it just looks
Yep.
looks funny. Okay, thank you, Stacy. All right. All right, and then 3-bedroom in carport. I'm assuming 3-bedroom and a carport, not a 3-bedroom carport. But that's thank you for sharing that, Bruce. And thank you for looking that up for us, Stacy. All right. A lot of good conversations today. Covered a lot of good educational pieces, actually. So anybody else have anything they'd like to share with us today? We got some big things coming up. Summertime usually slows down a little bit, but I don't really see that this year. I think a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of things. And if you do go down to the villages, you can probably look for opportunities down there too. Always good to look at some real estate and do some market research when you're on vacation, so you can at least have part of that being tax deductible, depending on how you have it set up. I know that's what we've done for many years. So.
Just an FYI, which you may have already mentioned because I was a little bit late, tardy to the party, as my students say. But the auctions have been canceled until October. So there's one auction this year for the city. Just an FYI in case anybody was planning on acquiring things through auction. And it was canceled, of course, due to the tornado.
Yeah, yes, thank you, Renee. We did mention that, and Dale will be talking more about that next Tuesday at the STLREIA at the main event on Tuesday night. And that it is, if you can't make it on location at the lodge in De Pere, then I would recommend getting on Zoom and checking that out, because Dale will be talking about that. Yeah, because of the tornado, they did put that towards the fall. And if you're not on Dale's mailing list too, I would recommend you get on there, and he'll be talking more about that on Tuesday. So if you're not planning on showing up on location in person, then I would recommend, if at all possible, to get the virtual link on Zoom, and you can go to the website, the STLREIA.com, and find that pretty easily there. So look forward to that. Dale does a great job keeping us informed, and I know I mentioned earlier too, the event next Friday on the 20th that Scott Walterbach puts on every year. It's the Missouri Tax Sales Seminar. This is number 4, and Dale is one of the main speakers at that event too. So he's very, very entertaining and very knowledgeable. Somebody that just actually works strictly in the St. Louis and St. Louis County area. So that'll be a good event as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. So hopefully we'll see you guys there or online, and we'll learn more together, because that's what we do here. Things change all the time, and that's why it's good to network with people that are doing this stuff, not just people. You can find a lot of the information online. In fact, everything's out there, but it's a lot different when you deal with the people on the location or in the area that you're actually dealing with. And that's one of the things we like about meeting with our group here, because it is people actually doing stuff. So not just based on theory. Theories are good, but it doesn't always work in the real world. So anybody else got anything they'd like to share with us today? A lot of good conversations. We're coming up. I guess we're coming up to the top of the hour. I can go get some ice on my tongue and be quiet for the weekend. And Laura's smiling, so that'll make her happy too. Hopefully my toe's getting better so I can walk. Maybe I can walk and talk next week. So, well, I appreciate everybody tuning in. A lot of good conversations. I'll have our replay up on YouTube by midnight. That's always my rule. Make sure I get it done before I go to bed, no matter what. I try to get it there a little bit sooner, because one of the things I have noticed, especially with YouTube, if you get it there before about 2 or 3 o'clock, it goes on easily. If you're a little bit later in the evening, it does take sometimes till midnight before they have the rendition done. Probably because so many people are putting stuff on there. I don't know what the reason is, but I just have noticed that. So anyway, appreciate everybody tuning in. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share with us today before we go? If not, I thank you all, and we'll see you all again next week. Bye, guys. Thank you.